And when I'm not being reprimanded by traffic cops, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
On Saturday, February 27th, Seattle Local Learning Center, a nonprofit, A for Apple Learning Center, will spread the warmth by giving away new winter coats and books to children. We know that warmth is created in more than one way. A warm coat brings physical warmth, the gift of community brings warmth to our spirit, and the knowledge that someone cares brings warmth to the heart. A for Apple Learning Center has served the community for over 25 years and is dedicated to supporting and connecting families to essential resources in our community.
What up, y'all? Check out the show. Check out the big show. I'm talking about the Traffic Jam Drive Time Radio, Harry Radio, Traffic Jam 4 to 6. If I could say it in multiple languages, I would, but I only know one. I'm not going to fake the funk. In the studio with my guy,
Kareem the Dream, the executive producer for Rainier Avenue Radio.
And all the females, all the beautiful women out there are telling me he really is a dream. And I'll say, you know what? That's all I needed to hear. Too much information to Dirty Harry. All right, check out the show Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 on Rainier Avenue Radio. Contest, in-studio interviews, play-by-plays. We give you the ingredients. We're your chefs in the kitchen. Let's go. Kareem the Dream, Dirty Harry, Rainier Avenue Radio. Come on.
This is the news on Rainier Avenue Radio. Britain's newly established quarantine hotels received their first guests as the government tries to prevent new coronavirus variants from derailing a fast-moving vaccination drive that has delivered more than 15 million shots in 10 weeks. Passengers arriving in Heathrow Airport were escorted by security guards to buses that took them to the nearby hotels. Some of the travelers said they had tried and failed to make it to Britain to avoid the quarantine, AP's Jill Lawless reports. Britain has given a first dose of coronavirus vaccine to almost a quarter of its population, but health officials are concerned that vaccines may not work as well on some new strains of the virus, including one first identified in South Africa.
And that's your news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Dealing with COVID-19 is uncharted territory, and everyone has different challenges. People may feel anxious, down, or overwhelmed. For some, these feelings can lead to changes in sleep patterns, an increased use of alcohol or drugs, or withdrawing from the people around them. If you know someone who's having a hard time coping, you can help by reaching out to talk and listen. To learn more about how you can help someone in need, call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-TALK. Brought to you by the state of Washington.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Check us out on social media. Facebook and Instagram, Rainier Avenue Radio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Av Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome to Green Living. It's your girl Queen Bree and Robyn T. We are broadcasting live off of Rainier Avenue Radio. Hey Robyn.
Hi Queen Bree, it's so good to see you. So again, yes, this is Clean Greens Living. We are coming to you from Seattle, Washington, and this is on unceded Duwamish territory land. However, Queen Bree is coming to us from, where are you?
I'm in Detroit. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yes, Queen Bree is in Detroit. So I did take a look at the land there we can acknowledge, and that is Anishinaabe. I feel like I just pronounced that wrong, and I practiced it 4 times, and then I realized I wrote it down wrong. I love it. But there are 3 main nations on that land: Ojibwe, Ottawa, and Potawatomi. And I wasn't sure exactly which nation it is there, but that's the land there. So beautiful place. Thanks for coming to the show, even though you're out in Detroit. And our one last thing I want to say is our music was created, produced by Cuddy Fresh, aka Carrie Williams. Hi.
Hi. Well, thank you for the introduction. You look really nice and hot in that pink. Okay.
Ooh, thank you.
Your blonde hair. Okay, sis, I see you. Okay. Focus. Okay. So I'm so excited. So this topic today, we are going to be talking about self-care, which is another reason why I'm in Detroit. I'm having a little self-care mommies weekend with my cousins. So I'm excited to be here, excited to be able to broadcast this show from Detroit. Today, we're going to have a guest on. She'll be coming up soon. Coach Queen LuRussia. We'll be talking about her. She's a coach. She is very she is very hands-on about self-care. And one of the things that she always talks to me about is me responsible. Because, a lot of times we forget me, and it's okay to sometimes think about me. But before we get into that, I want to talk about our farm updates. So again, a farm updates is our CSAs is live and kicking. You might want to get your sign up for your CSA before we're sold out. We're looking for volunteers. Thank you for all the volunteers. I have people coming in volunteering, sign up to volunteer. So I want to thank you and give a special shout out. Thank everybody for coming in. So okay, Robyn, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel bad if you don't know this question, but I wanted to see, do you know?
Okay.
And not a lot of people know this. So if you don't know, it's okay.
Okay.
Do you know who is the first African-American to run for president?
Stop. This is who I picked for today.
Did you?
Is it a woman?
Yes.
No, we picked the same person. Did we not? How did we do that? I just spent so much time getting all pumped up about Shirley.
Yes.
Right? Shirley Chisholm.
Yep.
This is one of those stars align moments when you're out in Detroit. We usually talk all the time. We have not told who our pick was to bring, and we picked the same person.
That's because she is a bad, who, shut your mouth.
Right. Right. The name of her book, Unbossed. What? Unbought and Unbossed. Right.
I need to get that book. I haven't read it. Have you?
I haven't either. I just looked up, and that was part of her slogans: unbought and unbossed. Yes, so much fun stuff to talk about. Shirley, for real. I had some stuff I was excited to talk about. I love it. I love it. You picked that.
Me too. Look, and I feel a book club coming on.
Right.
Unbought. Yes, I'm gonna get that. And then also you can learn more about Shirley Chisholm. I think it was either Prime or Netflix. There is a documentary about Shirley Chisholm.
Okay, I need to get on that documentary. It's going on my list right now. Here's how we do that.
Yes. So she is the first African American who ran for president. It was not our dearly beloved Barack Obama, although we are happy that he became president, but he was not the first, and he will not be the last. Thank goodness.
Right.
Anyway, so that was exciting. We thought we would start highlighting women in history, because a lot of the times we always talk about men in history. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's time for our ladies to get a little acknowledgement. So I'm so excited that we picked the same person. I feel a book club coming on, and you guys check out the documentary and look her up. Okay?
Seriously, I wanted to say a couple more things about Shirley since we're just doing it now.
Okay, go ahead.
And it leads into another future, another person that is kind of a pioneer and some future stuff. But also I was really excited that Shirley was also the first Black woman in Congress. And this is good we're bringing up women because they did face some pushback from being a woman more in the political realm. And Shirley's quoted that several times, that she got more pushback just for being a woman. And the fact that she was such a pioneer in some of this stuff was amazing. And she did food and nutrition programs, which is exciting to us here. Anyways, I could go on, but the one other thing that is exciting is that Regina King, who is doing a lot of directing these days and is producing and starring in a movie about Shirley.
I can't wait.
I know, right?
No more. I think it's so awesome.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Sorry. Okay. So Coach LuRussia, we're talking about being self-care this week. So let me do the introduction. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited. Look, self-care is needed. Okay. I had less than 24 hours without a kid asking me for something or needing to do something or attending to something. And I'm already feeling, I'm a little bit more alert. So let me introduce our guest, our lovely guest, Queen Coach LuRussia. She is a humanitarian, a transformation strategist, international speaker, and media mogul. LuRussia's sole mission is to empower women to live from their heart space instead of their head space. She is the CEO and founder of Queen LuRussia, Queendom Living, and Queendom Global Network. LuRussia has been featured in several radio shows. She has been keynote speakers for conferences, workshops, and seminars. I have attended a few, and she is really good. She has been featured in Yvonne magazine. LuRussia is served as ambassador for the WNBA Los Angeles Sparks. She has provided media coverage for the Los Angeles Clippers, OC, and LA Spring Palms Fashion Week, and celebrity events. Reaching beyond the United States of America, LuRussia has cultivated change in Nigeria and Gambia, West Africa, by providing food, water, clothing, and other resources. So we would like to welcome our special guest, Coach LuRussia.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So, hey, girl, hey. So, you know, I read your bio and I know you, but I'm like, girl, you did a lot.
I get my life.
Wow. Okay, so we're talking about self-care. So how do you get self-care in on there? Tell us about yourself, first of all. I'm sorry. Got so many questions.
No, it's perfectly fine. Hi, Robyn. It's good to see you.
Hi.
How do I get my self-care in? I make sure I take care of myself. No matter if it's only 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes, I get my time in because I believe that if you're not good to yourself, how are you going to be good to others? So I make sure that I schedule self-care time and time to love on myself uninterrupted.
That is beautiful. You schedule it.
Right.
That is revolutionary.
Right. Like, look, I'm going to schedule me some me care while I'm here on my me care vacation.
Yes.
I love it.
So tell us about you do so many things. So let's start with coaching.
Okay.
So you do coaching and you are all about me responsible. So what got you started in being me responsible and self-care?
Just being really honest with you, I grew up hearing about it, but one day as I got older, I looked in the mirror and I didn't recognize the person that was standing in front of me. And I had lost myself. My skin was bad. My hair was falling out. I was just in a hot mess. I had anxiety. I was depressed. I just wasn't my authentic self. And what I realized was I wasn't taking care of myself. I was giving to everyone myself. I was giving to the church. I was giving to my family. I was giving to my friends. I was giving to clients, but I wasn't taking care of me. So I decided that I needed to look at what was wrong in my life or what needed to be adjusted, better yet, and make the proper adjustments and stop apologizing for wanting to love myself, wanting to be good to myself, and for showing up for myself, because that's what I was doing. So just say someone walk in the room and say, I need you. I'll put down everything I'm doing to make sure they're good. And so that was the beginning of my journey. And the first thing that I looked at was, how was I emotionally? And at that time, I was not in a good emotional place. And I started there in my self-care journey.
Nice. I feel like I went through one of those moments where, and I do that, like, somebody calls me, I'm like dropping it right there to be there for them. And that is the number one no.
Yes.
Like, that stretches you so thin and you can't even show up for yourself. So yeah, I stopped doing that. Yeah.
You have to. I mean, and I'm not trying to jump in there, but I had to. It was like my mom had just died. All these things was going on in my life. And it was like, I'm at an emotional collision. And if you don't get a grip of it, it's going to look really bad. So I knew I had to really prioritize my life and see what worked and what didn't work and make the adjustments for myself. And then it just sprang into coaching and counseling and on from there.
Nice.
I am curious when you said you stopped apologizing for wanting to love yourself. I am curious to know how you navigated other people in your life that were used to you being there and putting yourself not first. Like what was that transition like, and how did you navigate that? Or how do you suggest others?
It was difficult at first. I'm not going to even lie to you. I had to have a sit down with everyone that was close to me and explain to them, like, one of the things I said was, I love you and I'm good to you, right? Yes. but I'm not good to myself. And I had to be really honest with myself and with them about my feelings and my emotions and my lies. I was lying to them. I was lying to them and presenting a false narrative. I was wearing a mask and showing them that person while I was empowering them and loving them. I was bleeding. So I had to really explain it to them. At first, it was difficult for them because I didn't answer the phone. I didn't do certain things that I used to do. But now I just was like, it's okay to do that. And what I suggest for women, specifically women that have children and a husband, is to have the conversation first with yourself and then with them. And when you can be honest with yourself, then you can be honest with them and really tell them where you're at in your life and what you're going through and what you need. And let them know that they are still special and that they are on your list, but that you need to make sure that you're on your list, because you cannot give from the cup. You have to give from the overflow. And a lot of us are giving from the cup, and that's why we're frustrated and exhausted and tired, because we're giving from what is ours instead of forgiving from the reserve. And that's what we be doing. And so that's what I suggest that women do. Just have the conversation with self and then others, and be honest, brutally honest, without any mask, and just tell their truth and live in their truth.
You said something there, and I feel like we need to sit in it for just 2 seconds. You can't just give from the cup. You got to give from the overflow.
Yes.
The overflow. That is a word, because the overflow is what you give. That is what you have to give the rest. And until you fill your cup up, which is take time for yourself, make sure you're okay, make sure you're taking, that is important. And I don't think people even realize that.
People don't. If we go in the kitchen and we put the stopper in the sink and we put a glass there and we turn the tap on, the water's going to fill up. Eventually, it's going to overflow. And I tell people, that's the part that you give to others. Never give from your cup, because when you get low, then what about you? That's when you're frustrated, you have anxiety, you emotionally eat, you might start cussing, you might start doing all kinds of things. I'm just being really real. I remember when I was in a bad place where I was just so low, I started cussing like all the time. Like everybody was like, that's not you. But I was so frustrated because I was giving from the cup. And we're supposed to be so full, not a martyr, and keep on sacrificing ourselves, our happiness, our peace of mind to make everybody else better. And then we're sitting over here depressed and dang near suicidal. That is not God's will for our lives, and that shouldn't be our will for our lives either.
Sorry. I just got this beautiful image of the cup that is giving, that is overflowing, that it's like joyful instead of like depleted. I was like, when you said that, it gave me this image that is just like a joyous way to give to others, and it had a completely different feeling than that other way where we're depleted and stuff. And I Bree, go ahead with whatever you had to say, because I was curious to know upcoming. That's beautiful. I was curious to know upcoming about the full spectrum of self-care, but I want to hear what Bree had to ask too.
I was just going to say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know there's some gentlemen listening, and these self-care tips can go for you too. Yes. A lot of times in history, we always focus on men. And so that's why I was just like, during this Black History Month, we need to be focusing on women as well. And it's, as a wife and a mother and single mothers, it is important to hear this, but also men go through things too. So these tips, even though we're speaking in women and we can bring somebody on, I just want to make sure that they're not excluded, and we do not. And we love you guys, and we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff for men as well. But too, I was going to say, you're really nice, because when I started doing my self-care, I didn't really have a conversation. I had a conversation with my husband, but with the kids, I just started, was like, mommy needs time. Like, I need time. Can you give me like 20 minutes? Do you understand? Like, you need time away from your siblings. Sometimes mommy needs time from you. And then I just didn't answer my phone from other people. So you was nice to have that conversation.
I value relationship, and that's a part of self-care, making sure that my relationships model who I am, because my relationships are a reflection of who I am. So if I'm chaotic and confused and toxic, that's what everything that's going to come to me is going to be that way. So I just decided to have the conversation because I had been living a life for so long. I figured that I would reintroduce myself, just being honest, reintroduce myself to them and let them know this is who I am. This is what I want. This is what I need. I don't like this. I don't want this in my life. And I don't like when you say this. And I don't like how that makes me feel. And I had to be, I grew up in the church and I'm a pastor's kid. So we are supposed to be the good kids and we're supposed to love everybody and take everything. And that's not so. You have your own feelings, your own thoughts, your own emotions. You have your own life. And I had to stop apologizing for that, for wanting to be different, for wanting to have a life, for wanting to love myself. Because a lot of Christians, yes, men and women, believe that self-care is narcissistic, but it is not. Even Jesus took care of himself. You would find him under a tree. You would find him in places where he was by himself. And if you don't do that, you'll find yourself empty. You'll find yourself broken. You'll find yourself hurting. You'll find yourself sad. And that is, again, not his will and not our will for our lives either.
Nice.
That's beautiful. And then when everyone understands that it benefits everyone else, and then, like you said, the kids, or Bree were even saying, the kids realize, oh, I get to do this for myself, and then we're modeling. And then whoever decides to be the one that kind of has the courage to say, like, hey, I need some of this for myself, and then it gives permission and empowers others. And then the men get to say, wait, hey, I need to tend to my emotional spirit as well. And it does. It kind of it spreads, you know.
Yes.
And men, if you let your women get a little self-care, you may get a little self-care yourself.
Exactly.
Self-care.
You go get some care, okay?
Mm-hmm. Care. If you let us take care of ourselves, we'll make you feel good too.
Okay, and everybody all around feels good. You know what you guys said, which is true, is that also it's important to take care of yourself because, like Robyn just mentioned, you're modeling it for your kids.
Yes.
And when I started to realize I needed the self-care because I felt depleted, I realized that I get this from my family. My family is deep rooted in service and in church. And I watch as they give and give and give, but I never seen the time where they took time to care for themselves. So you do have to find a balance, especially when you're in a place of service, because it's easy to be like, I don't have time for this. But like Coach LuRussia said, 10, 15-minute times to get your head and your mind right is all it takes sometimes.
Yes, most definitely. I tell people all the time, you get a piece of paper and you have the margins, right? You stick within you stick within that compound. Don't go over into the margin because that is your border. That is the border for your life, where you stay at. But within that structure of writing that sentence or writing that paragraph for your life, you want to take time of respite. You want to take time to get refreshed. You want to take time to breathe and exhale, to laugh. Sometimes for me, I just go outside. In the middle of the day, in the middle of work, I'll go outside in my backyard. I live in California. So right now it's in the 70s. And I just go and hang out and at the lemon tree and do some things and come back in and continue to work. But I need to take that time. And this is for men and women. If you take 15, 20 minutes within that confine, you will be okay, because that is your time to release. That is your time to deep breathe. That is your time to stretch. We have to schedule eating. All these different things will help us to refuel ourselves and to feel like we are refreshed and we are revived. You need that time.
Isn't that so true? It's like that slowing down for just a moment enables us to get more done if we need to, or just to stay in the game instead of thinking, I can't take that time because I got to be productive. No.
Right. And you got to take that time, because if you don't, you're still going to be behind because now you're frustrated and stuck.
Yes.
If you're just tuning in, This is Clean Greens Living, broadcasting on Rainier Avenue Radio, and we have Queen Coach LuRussia as our guest, and we are talking about self-care. Coach LuRussia, okay, so we talked a little bit about the importance of self-care. I don't want to let this time go by without us talking about exactly what you're doing. Now, Coach LuRussia has her own radio show. Coach LuRussia has her coaching service. I just attended her, what was it, Galentine's?
Yes.
That was fun. Like, I'm not even like joking. Like, I want you to do it again. And I'm going to bring a game this time. Because every time she was like, you got a game, my brain would freeze. So now I'm going to come prepared.
Thank you.
I think those are so important to do. So tell us about what you do.
Oh God, in a nutshell, that is a loaded question.
Right, because you do a lot.
Yes, I am actually, a family therapist. That's the first thing I went to school for, counseling. So I do that. And then I do teach self-care and self-love and media training for those that want to be a part of that. So I do coaching in that area. I do own Queendom Global, please forgive me, network. It is a network for women that are in media, whether it's entertainment, whether it's fashion, whether it's sports. We've come together on this particular platform, and we post our shows, upload content, but also it is an old school R&B and pop station as well. So it is a full 24-hour internet station. And what else do I do for a living? I host a, what do you call that? Every 3 months, I host a workshop, a seminar, or event. This was my first time doing one on Zoom because I'm used to doing my retreats and everything live. So this was my first time, and Galentine's kind of started that off. So that's what I do. And I'm trying to figure out what else I do because it's breathe down. That was a loaded question. I'm trying to remember everything. I do provide media coverage for celebrities and for celebrity events as well. And I do a lot of fashion events. I went to Harold and Carol Pump Fashion Awards, and I did red carpet for them and was interviewing the celebrities. So I do celebrity interviews as well.
Okay, ladies, wrapping it up a little bit. Can you guys give like 3 tips that you do for self-care? What are 3 things that you do? Like if somebody was just starting self-care, what would you tell them?
You go first, or you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, 3 things I tell them to do. It's the first thing to do is just be honest that you need it, because a lot of times we don't do that. So that's number 1. Be honest about it. And then after you do that, have the conversation with yourself about what it is that you want to do. That would be number 2. And then 3, do it. Just do it. Sometimes we go back and forth. Should I not? Schedule it in. Again, this is the date. This is the time I'm going to do it. And then just go for it. So that's would be my 3 things. Be honest and just go for it. That's it.
Okay, Robyn.
Those are great. I wrote them down. Okay, for me, I like how you mentioned earlier in the show, time to laugh. That was a huge thing I needed to add to my self-care. A bit of a routine, and then that internal self-talk of like, noticing the progress is important, and that those social times when you're like, I can't pick up the phone when someone's calling, but we need those times to keep our social relationships healthy as well. So that's what I'm on right now.
I feel like for me, my tips will be meditate, even if it's just 20 seconds. Just take time to relax your mind. And if something comes into your mind that you're like worried about, push it out.
Yes.
Take time to meditate. And things that I use me personally, I use gospel music. But if I go on a walk, I'll use some Beyonce music to get me riled up and ready to go. So whatever type of music you take, sit in a moment by yourself and just meditate. Another self-care tip, I would say, go for a walk or read a book.
Yes.
Read a book is you can escape, you can visit a new world, you can learn new things. I just finished a book. I don't know if I can say this word on air, so I won't say it out loud. I won't say the rest, but You are a bad fill in the blank.
Yes.
And bless.
Love
Yes.
that one.
Was on point. So I just want to thank you, Coach LuRussia. It's the last week, Lord of Black History Month. You know what? We are not stopping. We are going to keep coming to you with history facts from here on out because it is so much untouched territory in Black history. But I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you, Rainier Avenue Radio. This is Clean Greens Living. We hope to see you next Thursday. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
This is Paul